Hello and welcome to Aliens Revealed Live. I'm your host, Dean Caparella, here on the Paranormal UK radio network. From alien abductions to monster-infested ranches to Men in Black, near-death experiences, close encounter experiences and more, we speak to some of the most amazing people on the planet, ready and willing to share their chilling stories with you. And they all come from the Aliens Revealed Live files here on the Paranormal UK radio network. Well, an alien Earth forum sounds a little far-fetched right now, considering official disclosure is yet to happen. After all, to have an alien Earth forum, you need aliens. And right now, they're a little scarce. But you and I know they do exist, right? There's too much evidence out there to suggest they don't. Even if the government wants to know what's going on with all the strange aerial phenomena in our skies. But an alien Earth forum, or put simply, an intergalactic embassy, is just a pipe dream, right? That's the stuff of Star Trek and their Galactic Federation or United Federation of Planets. Well, actually, it may not be a pipe dream after all. In fact, the idea of an intergalactic embassy was first conceived in 1974. Did you know that there is an Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact, and they already have an established mission, complete with a stated protocol. Plus, they have an established roadmap culminating in a bona fide embassy built by 2030. The team behind it have adopted the law of attraction model of be, do, have, and it simply states that before you can do and have, you have to be. Think about that for a minute. Some of the most successful people in history have applied this to great effect in their lives. But the question will keep getting asked, how can we have an intergalactic embassy for ET if we won't acknowledge that ET is real? The Media Relations Officer for the Alliance for Extraterrestrial Diplomatic Contact, or the AEDC, Viedamour Elliot, says the idea of an intergalactic embassy was officially created in 1974, and she says the alliance is simply one step in the overall plan to have an embassy created, and she's joining us now. Hi, Viedamour.
I'm fine, and you, Dean, how are you?
I'm always good, always good. Viedamour, let's start off firstly and talk about the alliance. So what is the purpose of this alliance?
The purpose is to form an alliance with diplomats, experts, ET experts, and people that are interested in ET, extraterrestrial beings, to get together and try and form a group, an alliance. We already have several people part of our group, part of the alliance. And the other objective also is to get to ratify the Vienna Protocol to include extraterrestrial beings on Earth. So that means that we can build an embassy somewhere on Earth and be able to invite the extraterrestrials to come in their embassy.
Okay, so we'll talk about the embassy in a moment, but just for people who aren't aware, what is the Vienna Protocol?
The Vienna Protocol, there's two protocols. I'm not quite sure about the two protocols, optional protocols, I should say, but the third optional protocol would be to include extraterrestrials in that optional protocol, because we can invite other people from Earth or from I think it's about 65 miles up in the sky.
Okay.
So, but beyond that, there's no protocol for extraterrestrials coming on Earth.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if I'm clear enough, but
yes. Yeah. So basically, looking at the Earth, and we draw a boundary 65 miles up, and that's basically what we control.
Yes, that's basically what we control.
Okay.
But we don't have anything beyond that.
Okay. Do you have much sway or clout at the moment? I mean, you obviously only been around for a couple of years, but Do you have much say in the way things go?
Much influence, we try to. We did contact the UN. We did contact the countries, every country on Earth, regarding the construction of the embassy and having land. I believe we have some influence, yes.
Okay.
We did hear back from some countries, but we don't have any specific ones yet.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about those in a moment, but the embassy itself, I mean, when I first saw this and it landed in my email inbox, I didn't believe it at first, and then I thought, wow, this sounds pretty exciting. An embassy for extraterrestrial civilizations. I mean, we've just fast forwarded into the future. We're talking Star Trek stuff.
Yeah, it might look like it, but we project in 15 years at the most. So the Star Trek is here.
Yeah.
Star Trek project is here now.
Yeah. So why an embassy? Why now?
Because we are at a time in our human civilization, we are at a time where we can understand that we are part of the cosmos, we are part of infinity, and there's life on other planets. And some of them are maybe less advanced than we are, and some are a lot more advanced than we are. And this civilization wants to come and meet us and see us and try to help us with to gain more knowledge, to go a step further and become part of this this Star Trek Federation, if I could call it.
Okay.
of planets. So yeah.
Yeah. See, that could be. See, that's where a lot of people may find there could be a bit of a sticking point because, well, I believe and you believe there's life outside our own solar system, but convincing other people to believe it is one thing. But until we do that, we need to get the power brokers, the powers that be that are hiding the truth from us to actually admit that there's been an ET presence on this planet. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, but I believe that yeah, some people might be skeptics, and that's okay. But we will, like I said, governments are starting to talk about it. That's something interesting. They might say, some of them, like the US, might say, oh, it doesn't exist, or extraterrestrials, those things that we see in the sky, not necessarily UFOs or unidentified flying objects, but there may be a majority of these things flying around. Maybe they're not from outer space, but I believe that some of them are, because we can't explain some of them. A lot of it we can explain, but some of it, I mean, when you see flying saucers or an object going by and it disappears like that, and it changes, like it goes one way and then all of a sudden it changes sides, all of a sudden like this. I mean, and it's not explainable. The science now cannot explain why it's happening. So yeah, I think we are influencing some way the governments.
Okay, so what would the embassy look like, and where would it be built, and who would fund it?
Okay, what it looks like here, I don't know if you can see it in the back here, or maybe you can show that's the embassy. That's how it would look like. And well, it's being funded. We're a nonprofit organization, and it's being funded by the IRM, the International Raelian Movement, and What was your other question?
Well, where would it be built? I mean, is there a
Okay.
location that you picked?
Okay, we would like it to be built in Israel, but we don't know. Israel hasn't responded. I don't think so. But they haven't. So we decided to go and ask all governments. So we don't know yet where it's going to be built. We just hope it's going to be in Israel.
Yeah. Have you had any response from any of the governments that you've approached so far?
Some of them have responded, but I can't say any more than that for now.
Okay. For example, have you had a response from the United States?
I can't say. If you want to know more about the embassy itself, you can contact the person responsible for the embassy project. So
Yep.
the Alliance is something else. The Alliance, we take care of governments and we want to have a protocol and everything like that. And the embassy project is a different one. It's parallel, but the embassy project, you could contact the person in charge.
Okay. Viedamour, the ET civilizations you're referring to that you say will come when the embassy is built, I mean, how do you know that they will come?
We hope they'll come. We don't know for sure. It's like inviting somebody to your place. You still don't know until the last minute if they're going to come.
Yeah.
So the embassy project is it helps people realize that there's life out there, and we hope they will come. They want to come. These extraterrestrials want to meet us. They want to, but they want to make sure that we're a peaceful society, because they are peaceful. They are a peaceful civilization, and they want to come and meet us and give us their humanitarian knowledge and eventually their scientific knowledge, so we can advance with them into this new era.
Okay. You say extraterrestrial civilizations have been observing us for some time. Is this something you know for sure? I mean, we, personally, and with the hundreds and hundreds of people that I've interviewed now that have had contact with ETs, we know this. But how do you know this?
Well, like you, possibly, we see traces of that civilization, that ET civilization on Earth. We see traces from way back, thousands of years. In the Nazca Plains in Peru, you see the lines, but we can only see those lines when we're up above in the sky, like in an airplane. We can, and it looks like airplane strips.
Yep.
So, and we can't see that from the ground. So how come it's there? It's been there for thousands of years, and we didn't have planes thousands of years ago. There's also the crop circles. Crop circles are popping up a lot more often than in the past years. And some of those crop circles are from ETs. There's no explanation. There's no scientific explanation here on Earth to know how it was done. So yeah, that's part of it.
Has your alliance been able to identify which races have been observing us, and is there one in particular that stands out above the others?
No, extraterrestrials, they're one race.
Okay.
They have, how can I say, they look like us, but they don't have races per se. They're one race, and that's how I see it. So I don't know if I can.
Yeah. Well, no, I know where you're going, but are you talking about the race of ETs that's suspected created us?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. They're called Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
The Elohim means, it's a Hebrew word, and it means those who came from the sky. It doesn't mean God.
Right.
So they came from the sky. They look like us. They made us out of their image.
Mm-hmm.
They created us, so they look like us. And but they're one race. They don't have black, white, yellow. They don't have races on their planet. There's one race. It's a human race.
Yep. Well, the Old Testament, I mean, that says, we were created in their image.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Scientifically created in their image.
Right. So does this include, would you say then, a race that has often been spoken about, the Anunnaki? Are you talking about that particular race of ET?
No, I'm talking about the Elohim. Anunnaki might be one of them. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert in Anunnaki civilization, but they can be called Anunnaki, the sky people. They have all kinds of names that we gave them.
Yep.
But I believe they're from the same civilization.
Okay.
From the same Elohim.
Your literature says they are simply waiting for us to become more supportive of a peaceful and open contact. So what does this mean?
That means that we have to get rid of all weapons on Earth, that it be nuclear or otherwise, and that we get along together.
Right.
Love each other for who we are. We are one human race. Underneath, everybody is the same. So
at the moment, the world, I mean, it's been for a long time, is a melting pot. And right at this very moment, it could be a long time before we actually make contact, if it's based on that presumption that we become a peaceful, loving race of people.
Well, we have a deadline, that's for sure. Because civilization, when it comes to a certain point in their scientific knowledge, they either go past they either have a little more consciousness about this above. So we are able to control our aggressive tendencies.
Right.
Through love, peace, harmony, helping each other. If we don't do that, if we don't get to that point where we have a little more consciousness up above our tendencies, aggressive tendencies, then we will destroy ourselves.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So we have to, and that's why the Alliance is there. It's to help also governments take that conscious step.
Yep. So
go ahead.
So the deadline that you speak about, is that a deadline that we've come up with, or is it one that ET has presented?
That's the one that ET has presented, but I believe the deadline, well, I don't like to use it as a deadline, to say a deadline, but the ETs have confidence in us, in our capabilities, and I have confidence in the human race, in our ability to try and get together and resolve our earthly problems before the Elohim come.
Do you think that they're helping us to reach this particular point with interaction with us, and perhaps trying to steer us into the right direction?
I think they are, in the way that they're appearing more often. The crop circles that are showing up, that's another way of telling us, well, we're here and we're helping you to try and understand that we are here peacefully. We want to meet with you peacefully. So yes, I think they're helping us in that way.
The destruction of this planet by our own hands has been played out in different scenarios in movies and documentaries and films. If we got to a stage, do you think, where we were just about to flick the switch and bomb each other to oblivion, do you think they would step in?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, they wouldn't step in to stop it, because it's like letting a child go out and ride his bike for the first time. Right. Yeah, you're going to help him and everything, but once he starts, then he's on his own. Yeah, the child's on his own, and if something happens, then the parent can't do anything. So it's the same thing for Elohim, because they are there to let us move on and grow and understand where we come from and where we're going, and then it's up to us. Yeah. So it's just I mean, this planet is such a unique place when we talk about the people that live here, because we're you know, we're of different races, we're of different color, we look different, we have different beliefs, and yet we're known as the human race. I've often always thought, you know, if you could ever make it to another planet and look at the people that live there, would they be like us? Would they be made up of different races, of different beings of color and appearance? They might look like spiders. They might look like, but intelligent spiders, conscious spiders with a lot of love and harmony among them. Yeah. So, yeah, they could be, but the Elohim, they used to have 7 races like we do, because they created us. So they created 7 races but then eventually they got to mingle together, and now they're only one race. They don't have black, white, yellow. They're one race, and that's what they hope for us to become, also one race. But we are one race, even if we have I'm white, somebody else might be darker color than me, or different, the eyes, the way but we're all human. We're all human. The color should not separate us at all. And I totally agree with you. But right now, I mean, everyone, you know, different races and different cultures have got different beliefs. And right now, there are not a lot of cultures that are seeing eye to eye. And it almost appears like we need some sort of a unifier. Well, the unifier is probably the alliance, and we are trying. That's why we're talking to different governments. So we are. An alliance means getting together and talking together and trying to create this project to the end, to try and reach this project to the end. Yeah. So in a way, we are getting together slowly. Yeah. Well, with the feedback you're getting then, when will the leaders of our world governments be ready to come together, do you think? I have no idea when. It's up to them. But we are doing everything we can to stick to our timeline. The Alliance has a timeline. I don't know if you saw on our website. Yes, it started in 1974, and it ends in 2030. That's well, the Alliance itself started in 2019, and we have different steps. From 2019 to 2022, we created the Alliance, and we're doing things to like the protocol and Vienna Protocol. And there's different timelines. I don't have them by heart, but and the definite timeline is the building of the embassy by 2030. And then we have 5 years where we will wait for the Elohim to come. So 2035 is the limit, is the deadline. Okay. Viedamour, is this meeting with some resistance from world governments? Are they taking you seriously? Some of them are, yeah, because we're talking to them. So some of them are.
Okay.
But they still have to be very protocolic. I don't know if that's a word.
Well,
Sorry for my
we've
French.
just created it, so let's make it a word. Viedamour, so some countries, I would imagine, would be very guarded about what they know of the ET presence, i.e. the United States. I just wonder whether they would sanction something like this when, in all truth, countries like us really want to be in control. And would they be? Do you think they'd be ready to relinquish that control?
I don't know. I hope so. But it's not one country. It's several countries talking together. And if the United States doesn't want to be part of it, that's their problem. I see it that way. But the countries are talking together. So it's not one country who will have control over this. Not at all. Because we're talking to the UN, we have the protocol that we want, they're talking together. So the UN is not one country.
Right.
Even if we have the impression it is sometimes, but no, it's not one country. It's all the countries in the world.
Yeah, because right now as a race, we're still pretty much in a weaponization mindset, and countries like the US, I guess Russia and China would view ET technology as a way to weaponize, or they'd try to find a way to weaponize it to have an edge, over another country.
Because if there's even one country that has atomic weapons or has weapons of mass destruction or any types of weapons, the Elohim won't come. They want everybody to get rid of that. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
yeah. I mean, it's a very hard question to answer.
Yeah.
You mentioned the United Nations. Are UFOs or UAPs or aliens high on the agenda of things to get done at the United Nations?
That I'm not aware of, but they know that we exist. The Alliance exists. They answered us, and so we're going according to plan.
Okay. What about the recent UAP report to Congress? Did that make any impact on moving the needle forward in getting the embassy built?
I don't think it made the needle go forward faster, but because we're in the exact moment, we're right on schedule with everything we're doing. So if it made people more aware of it, more aware of beings on other planets, then that's fine. That's what we need. But it didn't set us back, and it didn't set us forward. We're right on schedule with everything we're doing.
Yeah. It was more about acknowledging there are things out there that we can't explain.
Yeah.
So how significant was it in bridging the gap to, say, official disclosure?
I don't know. I have no idea how significant it was. I think it has some influence.
Yep.
I think it has some influence, but how much, I don't know.
Yeah. Viedamour, I was reading a recent news report on your site, and I'll just read a little part of it. It says, "It is high time that we stop giving UFOs more attention than their occupants and start focusing on and questioning their real intentions." So you follow that up with a number of questions like, what do they want? So what do they want?
They want to come and meet us.
All right.
And they want to help us get through and join the how can I say, the Cosmos
Yeah.
Federation, if I can call it like that.
It's like they're trying to welcome us into the neighborhood, but
yeah,
we just need to grow up a little.
Yeah, we just need to grow up, and do our own experience, and then
So why are they appearing more frequently in our skies, or are they appearing more frequently in our skies?
They are appearing more frequently. And it's to help people become aware of their presence and help people to know that they want to come. They want to prepare us first, because if they came right away, I mean, there would be panic on Earth.
Right.
So they're preparing slowly. They're preparing us slowly, psychologically, of their presence.
Mm-hmm. And this question I found really interesting that you asked in this report. Since there is currently no safe place on Earth for them to land, are they trying to tell us something?
That's why, well, there's no safe place. They wouldn't come for sure if there's no land specific for them. There's this, that's why we're contacting countries around the world and see who would like to offer land and help us build the embassy on their land, on that land.
Okay.
So, and that embassy would have the same, how do we call it, protocols as the embassies on Earth. The embassies on Earth, when there's an embassy from one country in another country, they have diplomatic immunity. They have a kind of immunity from, so that's what the extraterrestrials need also. That's why they need land specifically for the extraterrestrial beings.
Yeah, yeah. So with the embassy, the human representation on it, would it be a representative from several countries or just one person?
That I'm not sure of. I'm sorry, I can't understand. I can't answer.
Fine. Yeah. Viedamour, are all the abductions and contact experiences being experienced by people all over the world, are they connected to these ETs that you talk about?
Some of them might be, but I think no, the ETs, do you mean direct contact physically?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the same ETs who are taking people in either an abduction or making contact with people.
Okay. The extraterrestrials I'm talking about, they have no contact like that whatsoever. They don't abduct people. They have contacted people in the past, like prophets, different prophets like Moses, Buddha, and they contacted one person here on Earth living at this time, who is Rael, but they don't abduct people. They don't do experiments on people, not at all, no.
Okay, so we're talking about the ones that where people have been abducted. We're talking about completely different races, not connected with the ones that you're referring to.
Yeah, it might be. I have no idea.
Okay.
But I truly believe that the extraterrestrials I'm talking about, they're protecting the Earth. They're protecting us from other extraterrestrials, other beings. So nobody else is coming.
Yeah.
So that's my answer to your question, I guess.
Well, that is often mentioned by by a lot of the experiences that I talk to, that there are certain races, there are at least 4 that we know about that are watching over us and making sure that that we don't fall foul of the malevolent races.
Yeah.
which is comforting to know.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I know of only one. So.
Okay. Viedamour, just before we wind it up, are you an experiencer?
You mean if I've seen an extraterrestrial?
Yeah, have you been contacted by
No.
ETs?
No, never in my life.
Okay.
I've never seen a UFO. I've never seen how do you call them now? They have a different name, but I've never seen an extraterrestrial. UAPs, yeah.
So where does your belief come from then?
I always believe that life exists elsewhere than on Earth. Not only on Earth, but elsewhere in the universe. I mean, it's infinite. So, and just recently I saw something written about, they're saying that they can, there's thousands and thousands of Earth-like planets outside of our solar system. And Earth-like planets means life.
Yes, yes.
Means, so I believe that all my life, I believe that extraterrestrials existed.
Okay, so people who want to get involved with what you're doing and want to know more information, how can they go about getting that?
Oh, they can go on allianceforet.org. That's our website.
Yep.
And they have lots of information there. And if they want to join, they can join as members, as supporting members. So yeah, that's where they can get the information.
Okay. And what's the immediate goal of the Alliance right now? What's the first marker you need to reach?
Well, now it's we're reaching governments, diplomats, and we're trying to get these people together to try and get the protocol, a third protocol for an optional protocol, I should say,
yeah,
for inviting extraterrestrials here on Earth in an embassy.
Yeah, and one more question I forgot to ask you. I noticed that the Paradigm Research Group is helping you get your message out. What kind of response have you had from groups like Stephen Bassett's Paradigm Research Group, or other ufologists around the world that have got a bit of sway and clout?
I wish I could answer that. I'm not aware of. I'm aware that they have been in contact with us, but with another person in our group, in the Alliance. So I'm not aware of what they said or what happened between them, the conversations we had. Okay. So maybe I can give you more information on that later.
For sure. Viedamour, thank you for joining us today. Keep us posted. This is quite fascinating, and I hope it does fly, sincerely, because an embassy, that includes us and our ET neighbours, I think it would be quite amazing.
Yes, and I would call them more than neighbors. They're our creators. They're like our fathers, and they want to come and see their children. They want to come and visit us. So, yes, and I believe it will be done. It will happen.
Fantastic. Viedamour, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
Jason Gleaves is a researcher and author who has more credibility in this field than most. His expertise includes modern civilian and military worldwide aircraft armaments recognition and visualization. In other words, when he sees something unusual, he can tell if it's man-made or something else. And combined with his computer graphic illustrator skills, Gleaves is sought after by some of the biggest names in the UFO alien research field.
My sister actually reminded me of, the sighting and said to me one day, do you remember when we saw that craft when we were small outside the window? And I was, oh yeah. And it slowly came back to me, the memories. Obviously through my life, there's been a lot of odd, weird things that have happened, but then obviously I went on, joined the Air Force. And then there was an incident at RAF Cosford, which is, it's quite documented out there, everyone can read up on it on the internet. And basically there was, we were on base. My friend was the orderly corporal that night in the guard room. It was a normal, basically the base at RAF Cosford is a training camp. So they train armourers and things like that there. And during part of the duties for the airmen at the station is part of gate guard. You have to do gate guard, and there was a young airman on the airfield gate guard at the time. It was really quiet in the guard room. It was getting into the late evening, and suddenly the radio kicked in with the young airman screaming down the radio to get the guard commander out to the airfield because something was hovering over the airfield. He was obviously really petrified. Long story short, all the guards, RAF police, everyone got in their vans and Land Rovers and drove out to the airfield guard post. When they got there, they all witnessed this large craft, which was described to be the size of a battleship. It was huge in size, hovering over the airfield. And then it took off at high velocity, but then it went on to another nearby base, RAF Shorebury, which is about 20 miles as the crow flies from Cosford.
Yep.
And it was witnessed there by the on-duty air traffic controller, who got the radar lock, and a craft of similar description as he was coming in over the base. He said it was firing lasers down to the ground if it was actually looking for something. And again, the craft, or a craft of similar description, that evening was seen throughout the UK by on-duty policemen and members of the public. So, it's quite documented. It's all on the internet. You could read up on it. Yep. And the MOD released the papers a few years back when they did that mass release of UFO papers. So yeah, there's a lot of weird things that have happened.
In UFO Encounters, he enlists the thoughts and opinions of about 50 of the world's foremost UFO researchers, authors, and investigators. He also talks about his own UFO encounter story, experiences, and Gleaves pinpoints the common theme connecting the researchers and investigators in his book. He also talks about his encounter with Mike Rogers, who was at the centre of the Travis Walton abduction. Plus, Gleaves has some interesting thoughts on where ufology is heading today. That's coming up on the next episode of the Aliens Revealed Live Files. You won't want to miss it. And thanks for being with us once again. Don't forget to check out our site at arlhub.com, arlhub.com, and as always, keep looking upwards and take care.
My Policeman, starring Harry Styles, is now available on Prime Video.
To all of us. To all of us.
All of
Cheers.
us.
Cheers.
I want you to be my wife.
Based on the book by Bethan Roberts.
He's trying to destroy our marriage.
No hiding, no lies.
A powerful story exploring marriage, betrayal, and the beauty and pain of forbidden love.
He was always in your life, in our lives.
Come with me. Just you and I.
My Policeman. Watch now on Prime Video.